We're here at Mobile World Congress Americas, and I'm talking with Mazen, who's president of the MulteFire Alliance. It's a 2-year-old organization, so why don't we start with what you guys do? What are you trying to address? What are you trying to fix in the world?
The MulteFire Alliance was actually formed about 2 years ago, and the goal was to put together like-minded companies to create an LTE like Airlink that doesn't require licensed spectrum. So the goal here is to come up with a spec that provide an end-to-end MulteFire capability. So the achievement so far is MulteFire Alliance have released their Release 1.0 specification, which is available publicly as of April.
As of April, okay.
As of April on our website. It was initially available to members. Also, I'm happy to announce the momentum of the membership is growing. We're up to 35 members as of today, and we have representatives from operators, small cell vendors, Wi-Fi vendors, module device manufacturers represented, as well as test vendors. So you have the entire ecosystem pillars visible within the Alliance right now and contributing to it, which is great.
Okay, great. So what would be involved in a MulteFire deployment? What kind of ecosystem is required?
Right, so I think what the MulteFire Alliance itself, we created enough evangelization and momentum of the MulteFire technology being applicable to where you don't need licensed spectrum to do so. So what's required right now in terms of getting MulteFire deployed is initially having the product certification available for products. Second, having products available to be deployed in, let's say, field trials initially, and then commercial deployments. So overall, I would say industry adoption. Well, first it's awareness, adoption, and then the deployment and commercialization.
Okay. What kind of uses are starting to emerge? Like, are there particular verticals that this is attractive for?
Right. So when we started engaging, both as a MulteFire Alliance as well as the member company separately, we realized there's a sizable market out there which would like to have a technology like MulteFire, which provide the mobility capabilities, the security, the good coverage and latency characteristics of LTE. However, they don't have licensed spectrum to do so.
Right.
So I would say initially the verticals that are very keen on having MulteFire technology would be, I would say, private LTE-like networks, as well as industrial IoT kind of segments and verticals.
Okay, yeah. Can we talk a little bit more about industrial IoT? Like, what kind of impact do you see this having as it gets adopted?
So I think for sure what these segments are looking at is the reliability of LTE, and down the road of a 5G like Airlink.
Okay.
However, what they couldn't get right now is either access to licensed spectrum, or the total cost of ownership was prohibitive for them.
Yeah, okay.
So by removing the license anchor component, so being able to deploy on 5 gigahertz globally per se, or other spectrums that require contention sharing, like MulteFire technology enables, but also I think of MulteFire as the marriage of LTE and Wi-Fi. I think of it as the best of both worlds.
Okay.
And being able to have that capability available to them. And you could see that represented and reflected in our membership base. So you have like Boingo on the board of director, you have Ruckus as a member, et cetera, and you have small cell vendors and LTE vendors. So being able to provide that technology bundled together from a perspective that enable adoption and having low cost of ownership is key. And also meeting the key characteristics that they need, such as security, mobility, quality of service, low latency, and coverage.
Okay. So skipping ahead to a time when this is commercially deployed, I'm wondering what the commercial opportunity looks like. Like what devices are involved? Where does the money come from? Who would pay whom?
Right. So for sure, each member company has a strong portfolio, and they're looking toward what they could do in terms of addressing the industrial IoT market space and enterprise space. Now, initially, what you see is having an end-to-end ecosystem available, and we're looking forward to 2018, where you have module providers start to provide modules based on MulteFire, as well as infrastructure provider. These are access points or Bs or small cells that start supporting MulteFire. So as our certification program will be available, at least the framework, by the end of this year, you could start seeing product certification and adoption taking place. But from an end-to-end perspective, the beauty of MulteFire, as reflected in our specs, provide very flexible architecture. So you're able to have a PLMN-based architecture where you have more closer to a 3GPP model deployment, but also for private networks and industrial IoT, you could have what we call a neutral host model where you have a light EPC, light core available. But I would look at 2018 right now, where field trials start targeting these segments and seeing what's needed to get technology deployed into these verticals.
Okay. Great. Well, Mazen, thanks very much for taking the time today.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate it.